The definition of generational talent reads: the term generational talent is used to describe someone whose talent is so extraordinary and rare. So extraordinary and rare. So extraordinary and rare that they are considered to be among the best of all time, or at least in their specific field of sport. Overuse. The phrase generational talent has become somewhat of a buzzword, and some argue that it is overused. Some argue that it is overused. Some argue that it is overused, diminishing the significance of the term. Here are some examples. In sports, examples of athletes often labeled as generational talents. Here's some basketball players like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Victor Wembanyama. Now I want y'all to look me directly in my eyes, man. Whether you are looking at this through a phone, TV, a laptop, I don't care. Look me in my eyes and tell me that what I just described there is Abdul Carter. Your guy who is never lying, sometimes defiant, TP Way the Giant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and rocking with me, man. Before we get into what I want to get into, man, it has been reported that the New York Football Giants has relieved assistant defensive line coach Brian Cox from his duties. Assistant defensive line coach. I ain't gonna lie to you. It feels a little random, I would say. I understand the fact that, someone has to have their hand in the fact that we are the worst run defense in the NFL. This is our third coach and all this madness, man, that has been relieved from his duties. But it just doesn't seem like we're getting to the root. We're doing all this dancing around instead of getting to the root. Like, when I think about us having the worst run defense in the NFL, it's hard for me not to think about Joe Schoen before I think about anything else. Before I think about anything else. You look at how this roster is constructed, and you look at the holes, and you look at the opportunities that we had to fill in these holes. I mean, why is Joe Schoen just walking around this building all willy-nilly, and you want to go shoot at the assistant defensive line coach before him? I'm not the smartest guy in the world. It's just not registering for me. It's just not. To me, it's kind of like you have this odor in your home, and instead of taking out the trash is full. You go vacuum. It's like we just want to ignore this big ass bag of trash that needs to be taken out. We're going to ignore that. All right, well then go vacuum. I guess it's just not adding up to me. But anyway, that is that on that. I really want to get into something, man, that I wanted to go slow on. I didn't want to just jump out the gate with this. I wanted to go slow on my assessment of Abdul Carter, because I do understand, man, as a rookie, sometimes greatness may take time. But I can't help but to think how overrated that third pick of the draft looks right now. And I say this respectfully. A lot of y'all have forgotten all of that offseason hype surrounding Abdul Carter's name. I mean, the next Michael Parsons and all that extra shit. I mean, eventually I bought into the hype. But initially I told y'all I wasn't excited. And that's just how I feel right now. I asked this question on my previous live stream, man, with some New York Giant content creators, and I want to know from y'all. Y'all let me know in the comments. Knowing what you know now, would you take Abdul Carter at pick 3? Would you? Because The only reason Abdul Carter would make sense for me is if he is the guy that y'all claimed for him to be. If he is that generational talent, if he is that dominating force that can take over games, if he is that, then that third pick of getting Abdul Carter makes sense. But respectfully, he just doesn't look like that, man. He doesn't look like that. I'm watching the film. I'm seeing what he's doing, and I'm not saying that he's not good, and I'm not saying that with time he's not going to be better. And I'm even go out, to say that I don't think we're utilizing him in the best position to succeed. I don't think so, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that Abdul Carter just seems a little overrated to me right now, man. I mean, y'all tell me where I'm wrong. Y'all tell me where I'm wrong. Can he cause pressures? Okay, if you want to give, brownie points for that, all right. But we know what the sack total looks like. We know that Darius Alexander, someone who we drafted later on in the draft, someone who plays less snaps, someone who's an interior defensive lineman, has recorded more sacks than our third draft pick. We know that, Abdul Carter looks like a liability on that edge sometimes. He lacks discipline on setting that edge, and he looks a little lost at times. We do know that in the offseason, it just appeared that he had more of a deeper bag on getting to the quarterback than what it is translating right now in season. We know that his pursuits, his effort may be in question sometimes when we are watching him on the field. I don't really want to get into really the effort aspect of it. I mean, just maybe he's just not explosive and as fast as it was led to be. Like it just I don't know, man. I'm just not going to ignore this feeling that I have just because it is Abdul Carter, that it just seems a little overrated. It seems a little overrated. When you think about all the holes that we have on this team, but particularly on his defensive side of the ball, I mean, I just think about certain players and opportunities that we had to really address these holes. And instead, we get Abdul Carter, who's just not living up to that third pick in the first round. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. Y'all let me know in the comments, because I want to know what y'all see. Don't just have me, jumping out the gate like this and making me the crazy man. Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Y'all let me know in the comments. You also factor in that off the field, I mean, he has been a disappointment. He's been an absolute disappointment. I'm not going to speak so heavily on the instances that caused him to get suspended, but all we do know, it is his wrongdoings that led him to be benched. I mean, we do know that. And it's just like that falls in to what I've been saying these past few weeks, man, when it comes to pedigree. When it comes to pedigree, it's just not good enough to look at talent when you're drafting a player. You got to know that you know about this player. You got to get to know what this player is made of. What does football mean to this player? What does his physicality look like on the field? I mean, we need dogs on this defensive side. We need to tap into all of that. We need to tap into all of that, especially when we're talking about anybody that is an addition to the trenches. We don't need any more skill in the trenches. We need dogs. And again, the pedigree is in question when talking about Abdul Carter. And I know, he can get mad and all the shit that he wants to, but I'm tired of seeing him on Twitter having the energy to be on Twitter, responding to any and everything else, and that whole LT number shit. You know what? It just pisses me off even more. It pisses me off even more because it doesn't seem like the focus is adding up. It doesn't seem like the work is just adding up. It doesn't seem as such, man. But maybe it's just me. Again, y'all let me know in the comments. New York Giants salute to each and every one of you, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I just wanted to get that off my chest. We're going to be talking about a few players. We're going to be talking about a few players, throughout this bye. And the first one on my list just had to been Abdul Carter. I'll holla at y'all. And until I holla at y'all already know what it is, man. Fee fi, fo fum. Until next time, peace.